guys, it's Cassie, and today I'm going to talk about how to eat healthy without going broke. It's so much easier and cheaper to eat unhealthy processed foods, but this is how I manage to fit healthy foods into my life and keep it sustainable and keep it as something that I'm doing on a regular basis. When Terry and I first started eating healthy, we got a book called Gorilla Food, and this is a organic, raw, and vegan cookbook. And the reason why I chose raw and vegan is because I really wanted to learn how to cook with vegetables and just make things taste good without the necessities that I was used to before, which are fat, sugar, and salt. Terry and I went to Whole Foods and I was like, okay, you get this grocery bill and I'll get the next one. So we bought everything we needed for all of the things I wanted to make. And when we finally got the grocery bill, Terry was like, and I was like, Terry and I aren't rich by any means, so we've definitely had to compromise in order to eat the foods that we wanted to be eating. Hopefully these tips will help you guys eat healthy without going into debt. Number one, buy the things that take a long time to make and make the rest at home. Ideally, I would want to make everything at home and eat it all, but I don't have time to feasibly do that.
Hey Cass, I got the peanut butter. Are you gonna be done with that bread soon, or? Cass? Can't even get an answer.
The kinds of things that I buy instead of make are sprouted grain breads, usually for Terry, and coconut oil, butter, as well as condiments and sauces that are made with good ingredients. And the kinds of things I make at home are almond butter, vegetable and bone stocks, as well as juice and veggie side dishes that I freeze. I make stocks at home just by boiling vegetables or bones or whatever extra things I have on hand. They're really good to add to a stir fry or to use as a base for soups. They're super easy, and a lot of the stuff at the stores usually have too much salt or MSG in them. You don't really know what's in there, so you can make a few gallons of it and keep it in your freezer and use it whenever you want. I don't ever buy juice under any circumstance. I always make it at home just by blending fruit with a ton of water. It tastes just as good, it's not too sweet, and it's much better. I try to avoid processed foods at all costs just because they may be cheaper, but it's just not worth it what it does to my body and my energy levels. Number two is all about snack foods. I find that you're a lot more likely to relapse and start eating unhealthy again if you have really unhealthy snacks around the house, because let's face it, late at night you're gonna get those cravings and you're not really gonna know what to have. The first snack that I love is homemade almond butter on strawberries. Almond butter is really easy to make. They're naturally very fatty and oily, so you just throw them in the blender, it blends into a nice butter, and you got yourself a dip there, partner. The second one is super easy and it's one of my favorites. I basically just take pineapples, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon, and pour some milk on top, and I eat it like cereal. It's like a pineapple cereal vanilla amazing dessert. The third snack I like to keep around the house is very dark chocolate. It hits the chocolate craving, and it's actually much better for you than milk chocolate. The fourth snack I keep in the house always is seaweed chips, in case I'm craving regular chips or Terry's got regular chips because he's a I either like them roasted in olive oil or just regular without any oil at all, just because I'm not a fan of canola oil in any capacity. I don't eat it. I don't think it's a very stable oil. Try to avoid it if you can. Eating organic is really where Terry and I hit the bottom of our piggy banks. So now we try to eat local, conventional food if we can't afford organics. Something that makes it a little bit easier is to go to the Environmental Working Group's website and check what the Clean 15 is and the Dirty Dozen, just to see what things are okay to eat conventional and what things that you should really try to get organic, just because some things absorb a lot more pesticides than others. So it's not really a must to eat organic. Obviously it's better if you can afford it, but you know, I can't. Number four is make a meal plan. And the reason why this one is so important is because the reason why I've fallen out of eating healthy so many times is I never really knew what I was going to eat. I had all this produce in the fridge and I was like, what am I gonna do with this? It's a lifestyle choice to wake up in the morning and not know what you're gonna eat that day. Nobody likes to be wondering what they're going to eat when they're already hungry. So you have to know what you're going to eat before you even get to that point. Number five is to never let anything go to waste. And I know this is a difficult thing for a lot of people who are just starting to eat healthy and they don't know what to do with all this fruit and vegetables and everything goes rotten and you go, well, let's just have instant noodles. I always make an abundance of different soups with my old produce. Broccoli soup, mushroom soup, tomato soup, cucumber soup, or even parsley soup. I just caramelize some mushrooms and onions until they look really good and smell really good. And I throw them in my blender, throw some broccoli or whatever vegetable I choose in there, some salt, pepper, and some homemade stock that I made by myself, blend it, and I have soup. Number 6 involves taking a little look around your area and seeing if there are any deals from places that source their products wisely. Once every couple of weeks, Terry and I buy something called a produce box, which is a box full of fruits and vegetables that were locally sourced and organic. You save so much money on it as opposed to going to Whole Foods and buying everything a la carte. You also get to try new things that you wouldn't normally cook with. I didn't know what kabocha was a few weeks ago, and I think it's delicious, so I eat it all the time. That's another way you can eat healthy, just finding stuff you never even knew about and trying out recipes with it that you Google. Once every month and a half, Terry and I buy a frozen meat pack. The days we decide to have meat, we take one thing out, put it in the fridge, and keep in mind what we're gonna have with it. Nothing ever goes to waste, and it's a perfect way to just keep your planned meals going. Number 7 is to prepare meals and put them in the freezer. The majority of the side dishes that Terry and I have are usually frozen. We just take them out. It's a really good way to save money and keep healthy, especially if you're buying in bulk. When Terry and I started eating healthy, our lives revolved around food. We literally spent all of our time cooking, and we were eating a lot of like kind of low energy meals, so we had to graze all day, and that's just not the kind of life I want to live. I like to eat short, energy-filled meals and just go back to work. And that's why I like to make a lot of side dishes like kabocha and green beans, just so I can whip them out really quickly, warm them up, and have something healthy to eat. A lot of people are against eating frozen food, but frozen food is actually okay for you. The nutrients are intact. When you put something like a strawberry in the freezer, the water in the strawberry expands, and therefore the cells rupture, but the nutrition is intact. So that's why fresh fruit looks like this, and frozen fruit looks like this. It's also very, very important to keep a food journal or keep a list of the sides that you have in the freezer on the fridge. You don't want some of the food that you made to sit in the fridge or the freezer for months, so make sure that you have meals in mind, just so that when you look at your fridge, you'll be like, okay, I've got that, and I'm gonna put these together and make an awesome meal. The 8th and final tip I have is to get a crock pot and use it. Throw a bunch of stuff in there, turn it on slow, let it slow cook all day. Your house is gonna smell amazing, and the food's gonna be awesome. You can just type in random ingredients you have on the internet, and it'll just be bursting with recipes that you can use for your crock pot. A lot of New Year's resolutions are very short-lived. Get in a good routine and keep it that way. It's amazing what it does to your body and your mind if you're eating healthy. So don't just think about how you're going to look, you should also think about how you're going to feel, especially in the long run. Like, what you eat now is, well, it's kind of important. I used to think that I couldn't live without McDonald's or instant noodles or just all these things that are really bad for me, and once you develop a taste for it, you're always gonna be like, oh, that sounds kind of good, but I never get to a point where I'm like, I need this, and I used to get like that, so I hope that these help you guys, and I hope that you enjoy your new routine.